We all know and think of Weldon as a timer at our horse shows. Back 70s, 80s, Don West had the Flamingo timers and decided it was time to retire. And Weldon was so convinced that to have competition succeed here in the Maritimes, we needed those timers for our classes. So he took it upon himself to learn how to do the timing and took over the first set of timers. And I think he's been through a couple of sets since then. If you've ever sat in the jury or been near the jury, and I've been lucky enough to as a card holder on the jury or as an announcer, the multitasking that Weldon can do to hold a card, learn courses, set timers, stop the clock, start the clock, know all the rules for the various classes is simply amazing. And Weldon, I don't know how you do it.
Weldon Conrad was born in Lawrencetown, Nova Scotia to a non-horsey family. When Rear Admiral Landymore and his British wife Judith moved to Lawrencetown, they bought some horses and ponies for their family. It was at their farm Weldon had his first introduction to horses. This experience fostered and launched his involvement in horses. In the 60s, Weldon became more involved in the competition side when he met and started riding and driving horses at the barn of Roddy and Shirley Robertson, well known as harness, hunter, and jumper competitors. It was there Weldon furthered his knowledge in driving and riding and also acquired his second family, the Robertsons. Weldon became Roddy's ground man, always ready to help pack the truck, load the trailer, drive to a show, and groom. During these years, Weldon developed his skills as a horseman and started many young horses under harness, introducing them to the basics of driving. At the time of his high school graduation, Weldon saw a sign at the Hants County Exhibition promoting a farrier school in Dawson Creek, BC. Weldon was one of the first farriers here in the province to be trained as a farrier and was the choice of many competitors. Weldon loved to go to competitions and exhibitions, and in the late 60s, he was sitting in the stands enjoying a class when he was pulled into the ring, handed a stopwatch, and asked to time the class. This began his decades of work as the official timer on the circuit in Nova Scotia. In 1976, Don West, a horse show dad, purchased the first electronic timer, which Weldon trained himself on and became caretaker of. He recalls that it took 4 men and a dog to carry the equipment, but it was a step forward for the Maritime provinces. In 1978, Weldon, Sandra, and friends developed and managed the Westfall District Horse Show. The first 2 years were held at a driving range. The first year had the most beautiful weather, but sadly the second year it poured with rain, ruining the turf, at which point the show moved to the Robertsons' farm in Lawrencetown. The competition was a must on the Maritime calendar and attracted horses from Quebec, Ontario, and the United States. Westfall hosted a large Grand Prix with amazing prize money as well as TV coverage. The Royal Winter Fair was always a highlight for Weldon. It was always something that he would fit into the end of his year. In 1986, Yvonne Collard called his house in Nova Scotia, asking his wife Sandra if Weldon, en route to the Royal, had brought his tux. She needed a backup timer. Sandra promptly put the tux in the mail. This began the years of service to the Royal as backup timer with his longtime friend and fellow Nova Scotian, Lloyd Newcomb. Weldon says it was always a thrill to participate as he had a front row seat watching his favorite 2 riders, Kate Prudhomme and Leslie Burr-Howard. He married Sandra West in 1985 at the Royal, and the two are fixtures on the Maritime circuit. They follow the circuit around, always enjoying the community. And back in the day, Weldon's dance card was always full, as he is known as a very skilled dancer. Weldon is more than the man behind the scenes. He's reliable, friendly, and knowledgeable, and he has mentored many jumper judges, helped many horse show managers with all of his tips and tricks. In 1997, Weldon organized the Maritime Horse Show Reunion, and that brought out over 500 people from as far away as BC, Quebec, Ontario, and the US. Weldon still loves to go to the competitions, and he watched the evolution of this sport, supporting and evolving our shows. Thank you so much, Weldon.
Well, a whole bunch of years ago, we needed a horse for Richard Cuthbertson. So Weldon told me he had a horse, and I thought, yeah, right. Anyway, went and tried it. It was lame that day. However, it wasn't lame the next day. We bought the horse, it went everywhere, and Weldon bred it. Gotta thank you for that.
Well, when this came up, it took some time to try to remember where I actually met Weldon. As it turns out, it was at the Bengal Lancers when I was a little boy. I had a pony called Cicero, and Weldon used to shoe there. So that either makes him really old or makes me getting there. Anyway, Weldon and I have been through the wars together, but in '77 we were members of a group called Atlantic Horse Show Productions that produced the show Westfall District Horse Show. And it originally was on Lake Loon Golf Course on the number 7 highway. It turned out to be a very successful show and went on for years. The funny things I remember about him over the years was not only did he ride in the Hunter, right? He also was directly involved with hackneys. And I really remember them all fussing around those little horses, getting them ready to go in the ring. The other thing I remember about him, he was the original John Travolta. Because at the shows, in those days, there were always parties. And Weldon would be out on the dance floor cutting a rug.
There was nobody who would stay on the dance floor longer than Weldon Conrad, and I have to tell you, he dances the best polka of anybody I've ever seen.
I love watching Weldon and how people react to him. I always tell this story at every single horse show that we go to and that we're working. I'm announcing, he's doing the timing, and there's always somebody off in the distance waving, "Hi Weldon, hi Weldon." And it's always a lady, and she's so excited to see him. And the next thing you know, she'll come over and say, "I know you're so busy and I really don't want to bother you, Weldon, but I just couldn't be here and not say hi to you." Off she'll go, and he'll say, "That's so-and-so. She rode this horse this year in this division, and then her sister did this." Like, how does he remember all this stuff? But he does, and Weldon, we are all glad you do, because your stories are fantastic, and spending time with you is just the best.
Weldon was a pioneer, certainly as a farrier. He always was bringing in new techniques, new product, and was kept very busy as a farrier back in the day. And also, of course, he learned a lot trying to keep shoes on hackney ponies. He was very involved with the hackneys and roadsters back then as well. And that truck would pull in, and that giddy-up license plate's been on a lot of trucks over the years, Weldon. I remember blue one, red one, black one, quite a few.
You always kept your farrier tools in the back of the truck. The number of people that would say, "Where's Weldon? I lost a shoe and I have a class in 20 minutes. And there you would be, dragging your stuff out of the truck even though you had other responsibilities and tacking on a shoe. And although you're a quiet man and I would say a little bit shy, there were always people in the corridor watching you. And you took it just in stride. And again, helping others and not expecting anyone to give you a pat in the back. I'm glad that you're getting it today.
I gotta thank you for everything that you do. You're one of those enablers that enables the sport and never gets thanked enough times. But I want to thank you for everything that you do. And for little guy, that too, nobody knows about that stuff. And mostly for staying married to my friend there, because don't know what would happen if you didn't.
You are a part of a team. Team Sandra Weldon. You have done so much together, and you support each other. I remember that first Westfall show. That was the first very large outdoor show that we had in Nova Scotia. The two of you were the inspiration behind it, and again brought us into the field of better competitions, better understanding of who we are.
I mean, what would we do without him? Weldon is one of our key players in our industry, and we go to him first off when we're organizing any events for any kind of timing or jump jury. You know, he's a serious pillar in our community, and we look to him for his great advice. He's always got great insight, and we look forward to many more years to come. And I love his story of when he was pulled out of the crowd to do his first timing job. And, you know, we are also thankful that that happened. So congratulations, Weldon. And we look forward to the future of our industry.
Congratulations, Weldon. It's been a long road. I guess you made it to the end. And congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Weldon, on your induction into the Hunter Jumper Hall of Fame. About time.
Congratulations. I can't think of anybody more deserving of this award than you. The Nova Scotia Hunter Jumper Hall of Fame Award. Of course, you were an obvious choice, and I know I speak for everyone when I say congratulations, you so deserve this award.
As chair of the Nova Scotia Hunter Jumper Association, I'd love to congratulate Weldon Conrad on being inducted into the Nova Scotia Hunter Jumper Hall of Fame. Congrats, Weldon.
And finally, I just want to say I'm pleased to say that you are my colleague and my friend. God bless you.